I want to welcome everybody to the NWO show, your source for everything New World. Obviously, we have not been around in a while. We got ourselves a little bit of a new look again. I know, I think last episode we had a different look than this, and this episode we have yet another new complete setup. We've been doing a lot to kind of revamp the stream, uh, kind of make sure that we have the right level and quality of content to make sure that you guys have the best experience possible. And of course, we only want to go live when we have something worth covering. So um, we did miss one particular event. Uh, the, uh, um, the main thing there. Voice on the microphone's a bit low. Fix that. Um,
And
this
here's my
should be
customary
better.
moment where I can check to see whether I'm actually coming through, which I am.
Nice. All right. So
However, I don't have video aids.
that doesn't surprise
But
me
alright.
at all in any particular way, but I can't really particularly understand why at the moment. This was working shortly ago. About 30% higher. Oh, let me just bump mine up, and this should be better now. Um,
it should be similar levels now.
Get the doggo sleeping on the bed right over here. I don't understand. Like, this is the fun when it comes to OBS because it'll do stuff like fundamentally work 1 second and then not work whatsoever the next.
Well, you
Like,
see the funny thing is A's has A's computer for whatever reason has a serious issue with using the premium, or not the premium, but the better version of OBS, which is OBS Studio. So he has to unfortunately revert to using Streamlabs OBS because it's kind of functions and doesn't drive A's completely up the wall. But in the process, it drives Commander A's up the wall with all the
I,
additional
I
weird
did nothing.
quirks that it has.
I did nothing, and Mac
Yeah, I
appeared.
know.
I did nothing. For the record,
Explain that.
did not change any settings, didn't do anything. He just appeared. That is the magic of OBS Streamlabs. It is.
You
I
just
get.
bitch at it. All you do is you just bitch at it, and it goes, "I'm sorry. All right, I'll sort myself out."
Like, apparently it was sleeping, and I just had to kick it. And that was,
God damn it!
yeah. Leave it to Streamlabs for this. My issue with the old OBS is that it constantly would delete my entire setup, which, you know, whenever you're setting some of these scenes up, and you set up all the transitions, and you set up all of the animations and all of that, that takes quite a bit of time. And having to do
And
it
if you have
over
to
and
keep
over and
on
over
doing it,
again every time the program goes to update, you just learn to hate life. So, you know,
mm,
now
and
my
some
camera
might
has
say,
decided to
"Oh."
defocus. There we go.
So sometimes people might think like, "Oh, we'll just save the scenes into a scene collection and then just bring it back up like afterwards." Yeah, that doesn't work as fluidly and as efficiently as you may think in OBS Studio as it would do in, like, say, something like Streamlabs OBS.
Especially when you're asked, like, once you get to this point where, like, you guys will notice that, like, the webcams both have animations around them, the actual, like, um, the background is animated, all of that. All of those animations take up a lot of space because they're like After Effects files and stuff like that. So like it makes it kind of a pain in the butt to store this firm. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about
Yes.
New World. So it has been quite the year for New World. Obviously,
Mm,
prior to this year, um, you know what? I think if we're going to talk about a timeline, we might as well bring up
the
right
timeline.
from the beginning the timeline.
I mean, you put so much work putting this timeline together, you might as well show it.
Yeah.
And we might as well go with it, right? Um,
So
I guess there's more than that, just that, right?
this is where everything
I
began. This is
oh,
this
okay,
is
okay.
the very
I was about to
very
say
very
because you
beginning.
showed me one which was very much that had more things in it than this.
Um, so this and I'm realizing now that this is not
Not the right one.
necessarily not the right one, but not enough. The trim in some stuff here and make this legible.
Make this look a little bit more busy because there we promise you there were more events that occurred.
So, quick
I can't
update.
even
There we
read
go.
that what that was.
So,
Anyway.
at TwitchCon in 2016, they announced Amazon was going to develop an MMO called New World. We had no information beyond that. That it was going to be, kind of a fantasy, but not. They didn't really announce much about the lore. They were just saying we're gonna make an MMO, and then they went quiet for quite a while. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and when I say quite a while, this goes for a bit, and a bit, and a bit, and then suddenly we start seeing stuff happen. So they announced the alpha was going to start, um, and that was Saturday, August 4th, that the first alpha started in 2018. So this is kind of a while ago at this point. Um,
Oh yeah.
and from there, there's a few things that we know happened. Hey, Jamie Smith,
Nice.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Jamie.
7 months. There we go. Also, I need to fix my alerts apparently, because they are apparently not showing up. Do
No,
gotta
I saw the I saw the alert
wasn't the
show up.
whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Either way, anyways, that should be fixed for the next one. My bad. Um,
Yeah.
New setups, they always break comical ways. So, anyways, we had the Alpha 1. During that time, of course, there's also internal testing, and there's some other testing in terms of like private groups and stuff like that that
I
we
don't
know
think
happened.
I don't think I think I even knew about the about New World at this particular point in time. I think you probably heard a bit about it before that.
I've known about it for quite a while at this point. Um, I don't
Mm.
know the exact time when I got involved, but it was somewhere ballpark around here. Um, you know, from there,
I think it must. Yeah.
we know that there were other test servers and that there were other private groups doing testing and stuff like that, and they really kind of had some plans. Now, what Amazon didn't know that we know is that there was actually a website launched with a FAQ that basically stated that they had a planned beta with dates and a planned launch with dates for 2019. Now, obviously, this was never publicly announced and very rapidly abandoned. Um, and then after that was canceled, they kind of let the alpha kind of run its course, and this is where you start seeing kind of this blank phase again. So, end of July, you hit this phase of, well, we got nothing. They went basically radio silent all the way up until, this is where like everything starts happening at one time. all the way up
Yeah.
until they started announcing, hey, this is the new stuff. Whole bunch of stuff launched in December. Like, just a crazy amount of blogs and
If I
videos.
remember correctly, yeah, there were those blogs, but if I remember correctly, they weren't on like December 12th. Like they're dated for December 12th, but I think they were released like a week
There
or two
were
after that.
there were three of them that there were three of the actual like dev blogs that launched on the 12th, and one video. Um,
Mm,
since then,
okay.
there's been two other videos that have been backdated to that point, which is why I have it
Okay.
at this. But they appear to have been uploaded, but then launched at a different date. Um, but they all kind of happened in that same like 2 week window in the December time frame, where we had the lead in with all the different the tree countdown. Um,
Mm.
so this brings us into they started announcing the PvP changes, and that was a whole scale
Mhm.
change.
That
Like,
that was the sort of, yeah, sea change, kind of like everybody losing their shit sort of moment.
yep. Um, and that's a pretty fundamental change between the two. I can't
Oh
go
yeah.
into a whole lot of the changes from Alpha 1 to Alpha 2 because I know too much, and that's too fine of a line to dance. So I can say that, hey, biggest change is that PvP, but also they launched Alpha 2 in January of this year, which
Mm, yeah,
feels like ever ago. Uh,
does, doesn't it?
it
Jesus.
really does. Like, oof,
But then again, we are talking about 2020, so
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Um,
That moment halfway through the year when you talked about 2020 as though it was last year, like, definitely made me kind of think, yeah, 2020 sucks.
and of course, you know what I forgot to turn on?
Oh, you've got to turn on
I forgot to turn on
um
Spotify again.
background
Yeah.
background Spotify.
The music in the background of our shows is brought to you by
It's
Stream
really
Beats.
funny. Yeah,
Whenever
it's
I
brought
remember to actually turn it on. Uh,
it's actually hilarious because you actually said prior to coming on, "Oh, I best get Stream Beats on Spotify just so we don't have this like moment 5 minutes after starting the show that Stream Beats just suddenly comes on as if it was always there."
well, nothing better than starting at 18 minutes in. Like, oh well. So, anyways, they announced the Alpha 2. They give
It's
a
a
beta
feature this
date.
now.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
feature for sticking with us. You get better sound. You know,
Yeah.
uh, they announced Beta 1, which, okay, this is the first time they've announced a public beta. We've got a firm launch date on top of that. It's gonna go. Now, this is when things start getting pulled back. You know, we get we get a lot more information. Alpha 2 seems to be going reasonably well, but um,
But this
there's
beta was like
growing
this beta
leaks
was
that
this beta was just quickly though, it's like this beta was like pretty much set at what point? Like they said it sort of like in the sort of January, February 2020 time, right?
um so the beta itself was set for the month before launch, which would have been April 25th through August or through May 25th. So
No, I know,
one
I know
month.
that. Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is like, when they announced it, it wasn't sort of like midway or sort of like a little bit way through 2020. It was kind of like right near the start of 2020, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
So
considering what
they
happened
actually
in
gave the launch
2020.
date. They actually gave the launch date early in the year, and I think it was. I think I want to say the launch date was actually online when December 12th, when they launched the video at the streaming. What was that event?
No, no,
Video
no. It
Game
was, yeah, it was
Awards.
the Game Awards. It was the
Yeah.
Game Awards,
Yep.
right? So they yeah, they must have done
And that had the actual launch date. So
it. Hmm.
there was a lot of stuff going towards that. They put full steam ahead. Let's get everybody involved. Let's get this going. Let's we've got a launch date. Well, one thing leads to another, and you know, COVID happens, which fundamentally changed everything. Uh, Fundamentally, gives them a reasonable excuse to make a delay. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that they had played around with the idea of a much longer delay back in that first window, thinking, okay, hey, there's some stuff that we need to do, but like I think we can still get it. Um, and I think that they hit this and went, okay, hey, we only need a few more months, like, it should be fine. And then that didn't happen. Eventually they basically said, hey, this just isn't ready. It's not what we want it to be yet, um, and pushed it back. So this is where you start seeing, on the top side of this, you see all of the articles and videos. On the bottom side of this, you see all of the kind of important, relevant dates for production. Um, so Beta 1 ends up getting delayed till 2021. And the launch day in August also gets delayed to 2021. In its place, they launch a relatively public, however, still behind the NDA, density test, where effectively they invited as many people as they possibly could to bring in and really get a good look at what was going on. Make sure their servers are up to snuff, test, hey, how many servers are we really going to need? The density test, can't really talk ton about it because it's behind the NDA, but effectively any density test is really just, do our servers work? Is this going to be something, is there anything that we need to change before a preview event? Which the preview event itself was actually a, hey, we're sorry that we missed launch, that we had to delay, but let's show you where we are now. Let's put the stake in the ground. This is what we want to do. This is how we want to do it. This is the vision. We're going to make some tweaks and changes around this vision, but fundamentally, this is kind of what you should expect.
Yeah.
Which I think was really good of them to do. From there, we had a little bit of a delay, and then about a month earlier than we expected, they launched the next phase of the alpha, which is Alpha 3, which at this point is, still going on, and they've now changed kind of their release cadence, and you can see on the top side here, they fundamentally changed the amount of stuff coming out. You can tell their developer diary series has kind of come to a logical end, probably ending a contract with whoever was producing them before, if I had to guess. And then they're focusing on more text-based communications, and really actually starting to launch the patch notes and stuff like that directly to the public.
Which was a surprise, actually.
Yeah.
Which was a surprise in actual fact, because prior to this point, they hadn't released patch notes, for the alpha kind of phases to the public in any way, shape, or form. All of that was NDA. The only time that it was that they released things was, to kind of showcase stuff that they were certain about, right? When they were talking about invasions and that kind of stuff. But it was all broad. That was all kind of broad stroke kind of descriptions as to what they were thinking about regarding main features of the game. These were actually pretty much patch notes that they're releasing.
Had to do a quick transition because I noticed a small error on the stream. But so
okay.
We're finally getting those kind of things into the public so that people can kind of talk about it at least. We still have a decent amount of time until our presumed beta and launch. Now, when I say this is the assumed beta, don't take this as, a line in the sand, this is going to be when it is, but here's the reality. if you go to Amazon's website and you look at the New World page, it states May 25th, 2021 as the launch date, which, if we extrapolate from all of the other times that they have announced a beta, and
with a launch
with
date,
a corresponding launch date, they have pretty much consistently stated that the month before launch is going to be their beta window. And then from there, to make sure that this is clearly stated, they've said this a number of times, when the beta goes live, all progress from the alpha is deleted. You start brand new, the beta goes live and goes to launch. From there, the beta ends, and they do the same thing. They wipe the slate clean, delete all the characters, all the character progression, all of that, and start brand new on launch day. So some people are not going to be happy about that because it's going to be the first time they're hearing about it. Some people are going to be thrilled about that because it means that you gain an advantage over the people on launch day in knowing what to do. Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
However, you don't gain any levels or anything like that. You do gain some titles and stuff like that, but that's not particularly important. So that gets us to launch. Now, what happens post-launch? You know, this is the area where things get
that is
interesting.
the question.
You know,
Yeah.
kind of what happens then? Now, Amazon has stated that they have a 10-year support plan for New World. This is going to be a game as a service.
That's the case.
You know, this isn't going to be a one and done, you know, launch and then they're just going to forget about it and work on something else. Like, they actually do have plans to support this game and its development over time. The launch is just a start. It's just a stake in the sand of, okay, hey, you know, we're going to start letting people play it. As with everything, you got to keep adding stuff to it.
And the other thing as well, actually, is some people kind of get the wrong impression that because Amazon Games have stated that they're going to be ramping up production on the Lord of the Rings MMO, that somehow the same people who are making New World are going to suddenly shift and do that instead of New World. It's a entirely different team that's doing Lord of the Rings MMO.
Yes. So
just so you guys know,
I wanna explain this to people in some more solid terms as well here. When they talk about their development teams, I'm gonna dig out a picture here. Might take me a moment. These aren't small teams.
Hey, Brody.
Hey, how's it going?
Just sort of was like, hey, it's Morty. Nice.
Yeah. Where is it? Their promotional images, I think.
You're finding the staff kind of like team photo, right? I imagine. Yeah, there you go. That's the one.
So, I've got to resize some stuff here.
This is pre-COVID. I'm not saying when I say this is pre-COVID, I'm not saying it's pre-COVID in the sense that, like, you know, there's a bunch of people dead in that photo. What I'm saying is, like, there's no social distancing there because it's pre-COVID. So, like, you know, that's why.
So, sorry, this is taking me a moment to get everything into the right place and all that, because it's
yes, because this is a new setup. So, like, previously you had everything set up in the right kind of area, so you could just click straight away and it'll be there.
There we go. All right. So, back in 2019, this was taken. January 1st, this was posted as a, hey, this is the New World team, the developers behind the project, fundamentally who's working on New World itself. So, That right there is, roughly speaking, about 100 people. Uh, Now, what I can't tell you is, does this include, you know, admin support staff and stuff like that? It might. It might not. I don't know all the faces. I know a few of them, but I don't know all of them. And I'm sure a few of them don't know that I know their faces. So, you know, there's that part of that too. You know, so
bit of creepiness going on there, mate.
yes,
Not
a
gonna lie.
little bit. You know, now I don't understand the
Anyway.
question in chat there. We don't particularly have a really good schedule. The timeline that I showed earlier, this thing, which is telling me to save my work, which is funny. Um, you know, this is something that I've put together. So yes, this is mine. Um, you know, if anybody wants to use it, feel free. Be more than happy to.
Mm-hmm.
But so this is the team that's working on this. They have several offices. There was the team that was working on Crucible, which has been divvied up to multiple different projects, with a substantial portion of them either moving to the Lumberyard team, the New World team, or the Lord of the Rings team. It's also important to note that the Lord of the Rings team is also a separate studio that is working on it. So it's not new. It's not necessarily Amazon by themselves doing just their own thing. Like, New World is 100% Amazon Game Studio. However, the other groups, for instance, are not necessarily under the control of Amazon. They are partnered with. So, bit of development kind of awkwardness, because everybody's like, oh, you know, Amazon's making this, or Amazon's making Lord of the Rings game. True, but also not. Half truth. So, anyways,
It's kind of like saying Xbox Game Studios is making, you know, X or Y game. Yes, but Xbox Game Studios isn't a single studio. It's a conglomeration of various different studios under one name.
Yeah. A really good example of this would be Ubisoft and the teams that develop Assassin's Creed. The teams that develop Assassin's Creed, you would assume that they have everybody working on the same game. You know, and they have 5 different studios. The Montreal studio and the one in Europe. They kind of bounce. Each studio works on one game from start to finish. They might tag in some people here and there to help with some specifics, but effectively they're building one full game from start to finish. And that way they can keep focus on the specifics of their game without having to deal with awkward meetings at weird times, because obviously if you have a meeting in Canada, you have a meeting in Vancouver and you have a meeting in Stockholm, gonna be some weird awkward timings for, you know, when you can host a meeting and have everybody present.
It'll be difficult to get both of those meetings happening in like office hours. Let's put it that way.
So it makes sense. It's kind of a good setup for them, and of course their games come out phenomenally. Now, they're not like pressing one game over the other, and they're not shifting a ton of staff over, you know, just because. They have separate development efforts for each of these things, and this is how Amazon Game Studios is also run. Now, when it comes to Crucible, there's some questions about like why Crucible ended the way that it did. Where, you know, okay, hey, game launched, flopped. You know, I'll be the first one to say it had some problems. You know, it is a not difficult thing to understand why it flopped. A team-based game with no ability to communicate or cooperate with your team in game in terms of voice or text for team chat. Uh, Basically sunk that ship before it could even take off. And they knew that. And I think on launch, when it died within a week, I think that they had already pulled the plug on future development of the game without telling anybody else. From there, what any reasonable and responsible studio would do is take their code, break it down into modules, so that it can later be used again as code base for potentially other games. There's ways that you load in assets and ways that you interact with certain things that fundamentally don't change game to game. And if you can copy paste something that you've already created, you don't have to rebuild it. You might have to change around some of the parameters and stuff like that, but it's easier to one stop, boom, here's a quick fix and make it work than it is redevelop it from the ground up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how Crucible falls into this and expanding this team potentially. We also know that Amazon Studios, the size of the end studio has shifted pretty dramatically over the last couple of years as well. They've had a number of projects that didn't go the way they thought they were going to go, a number of projects that were canceled in development, and of course they've got a couple of projects that they're kind of going full force into. So I do want to talk a little bit about the creator program. At some point, we're actually going to be talking with the developers about the creator program, and at some point, I want to take the opportunity now that if you guys have questions about the creator program, please join our Discord or PM me or something, so that I have those questions, so that we can kind of collect them for a special project that will be coming up soon.
Yeah, for sure.
We do have something related to the creative program that is coming up that due to the holidays, I didn't want to push the envelope on when that was going to happen, but we've had something in the works that talks about that. We do have a video on the channel that talks about the creator program and our thoughts on it and some of the things that we assume about it. For those that have noticed, in the bottom right-hand corner, we do have the New World Creator logo. The reason that we post that logo is that we are supported in several ways by Amazon, in terms of asset development and stuff like that. So if you saw the AGS starting soon screen that we use, I'll transition to that for a second here. As well as a couple of the transitions that we use. Those kind of things are things that we've actually received from Amazon in order to bolster the quality of our stream. We've actually invested a pretty sizable amount of money back into the channel in order to get to the quality that we're aiming for with the current stream here. I think now is a good opportunity to show everyone how things looked the last couple versions.
Did you
really I still have them. I still have them.
Still have them?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
They're still up as scenes. So I want people to check this out. So back at the beginning of the year, break a few things. This is what we looked like for the preview event. And I understand that my camera is all kinds of bugged because it's using the webcam up here instead of the DSLR up there. Then from there, we transitioned to this one, which does not have a working webcam at all in the right spot. But but actually has the DSLR. No, it doesn't. It's still the webcam again. Um, so that's this was kind of a transitional. Like, this is something we like, you know, and we kind of got to the point where it was like, okay, we're 50% of the way there. Did some research on really what we wanted, and new look.
I think the thing is the strong frames were kind of like I think everybody goes through that moment where they think a strong frame for various different things, is a good idea, and then that sort of tends to it tends to fade fairly quickly when you realize how limiting that is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good God, dog. Oh. Jesus. No more cheese.
One aspect
no more cheese for you.
The one aspect of the one aspect of having a dog that people on stream don't really realize.
So let's pop over to their website and let's talk about a bit about the creator program.
Yeah.
So their creator program is kind of an interesting program as a whole. Like, it's not at all what I would have expected, and it's definitely not what the industry does. I understand that the image here is forked, but I'm in the process of fixing that. So, one moment.
It's just a resizing issue.
Yes. There we go.
Yeah, I mean it's
so
it's interesting because it's not like you have to be over a certain bar.
Yeah, that's the big thing. That's the big thing. When you apply to this program, you're in. Like, it's not a effectively what they're trying for is, if you're helping them distribute game content and build out the community, and you're engaging with people, you're respectful, you're really trying to build the community, of course they're going to try and help you. And that's the fundamental goals of the program. And we'll have another show on full show on the topic of the community team and the content creator program. But I just want to make sure that people know, one, this exists. Two, it's worth applying for. You get all kinds of content drops. This is how I know stuff's coming out. It's not that I'm like, sitting there chatting and being like, oh, hey, is this coming out? Or, generally speaking, the content creators are sent a email with a link to an asset pack, or, hey, here's this event that's about to happen. We know that you guys are going to create content for it, so let's support you. Let's give you the items and assets that you need to really make a go at it.
I do remember, however, though, A's, that happened after the preview event.
So the preview event is a little bit special. I know,
they
were so focused on getting the
funny.
Preview event assets out, or they were so focused on the preview event itself, that the preview event assets for the content creators didn't come for like a week and a half later, which was really nice, but also kind of comical. But
it would have been lovely to receive those particular assets like prior to the preview event, because then we could have included them in the show and in the various different live streams and stuff. But
yes,
it is what it is.
So for instance, some of the stuff that we have access to are some of the videos. Some of the videos, some of the like transitional stuff, the transition that I showed earlier, all those kind of things are things that they give out to the content creators to help them. got a number of different versions of logos and emblems, and that's super tiny. You know, that's also the creator logo. You know, you guys have seen the other one. You know, we got some transitions. You know, if you're looking for, you know, the art assets for the New World logos and stuff like that, they've got those. You know, or if you're just looking for like name blocks, you know, stuff like that to just like bolster up the quality of things. That's kind of the stuff that they're helping build out for you. And it really is a lot of help. Because like I could tell you that like the asset packs for, you know, for running a stream, you know, with a bunch of these like transitions and stuff like that are not cheap.
Yeah, they can get expensive for sure.
Yeah. You know, not on sale. Some of the asset packs that that we've used in the past. You know, I mean, our custom alerts, which if anybody wants to hit the follow button, or the subscribe button if you're feeling generous, you know, you can trigger one of those alerts. It's a custom alert package that we worked with a third party to develop. And if you guys are interested in working with that person, we'll be more than happy to give out his information. It's Night Marcher that we worked with. You know, does a great job of really getting, you know, really getting everything going, and really making it look professional. If nobody hits the button, I'm gonna have to trigger one of these myself.
I was gonna say. I don't know whether you can trigger it by like, you know, unfollowing and then refollowing on Twitter. But, you know,
I'm just gonna go into stream elements and trigger a custom one.
Just like fucking why not?
This is why we can't have nice things, guys.
Mm-hmm. It's like, did you not realize this? Like, I found this out fairly you know, quickly on the show. You actually, if you
know,
ask
that's not one of
the
the
audience
ones.
to actually, oh, there you go.
That's
So if you
not
actually
even one
ask
of
the
them.
audience, that's not the right one.
Yeah, that's not even the right one. This is why we can't have nice things. There it is. That's the right one.
There you go.
So, you know, that's our custom kind of alert that goes off. You know, we've got you know, custom ones for follows. You know, like,
yeah,
we went through a decent amount of effort to get these made, and they're not free. So, you know, having Amazon Game Studio really help us with, you know, development of some of these assets and really push them out to us to support those kind of things is really, it's not something that I've seen any other game studio do, in all honesty. Like, when it comes down to the preview event, back during the preview, we did a couple of interesting things with them as well. So like, they were going around the community and handing out keys for streamers to give out.
Yeah.
And I believe we handed out, I want to say we handed out like 120 some keys on stream during the preview.
We did hand out a fair few, yeah.
I think at a certain point they were probably tired of giving me keys because I just kept asking. But yeah, like, you know, we handed them out in droves. And the other thing is that they allowed us to give away one of the boxes, which is conveniently missing at the moment. But if you see anybody in the community that has one of these snapback caps, these are pretty rare. You know, not everybody got one of these. Not everybody, you know, not everybody was involved in that process. But they actually sent out a creator kit box to a number of people across the community, some bigger streamers, and all that. and kind of notable people across the community got them. You know, it was they allowed us to actually get an extra one and give that away on stream. So we ran an event all week. You know, hey, you know, sign up, and we'll do this thing, and it worked out. You know, I think Crownbreaker got the box.
Yeah, it was Crown. Yeah.
Interesting situation happened where like I used his gamer tag as a part of his shipping address, and learned rapidly that you can't send international mail without a person's name on it. Who would have thought? You know, but it's stuff like that. They really do a lot to support people. It would not surprise me if we saw a level of Twitch integration on launch, in terms of like Twitch drops and stuff like that for watching streamers. Obviously, Amazon owns Twitch, owns New World through Amazon Game Studio, so we can assume that there's going to be some level of coordination. If at bare minimum, just on ads, at the obvious, they're probably going to include things like items and Twitch drops and gear and stuff like that, and it's going to be an interesting process for them.
It's gonna be. I think what I remember hearing or reading on one of the press releases, or one of the sort of like a press kind of interviews, that they were looking at more advanced Twitch integration with New World,
Yes.
maybe to the point where in actual fact streamers and their streamer communities could actually, if they have the game, well, firstly you can via Twitch you can actually buy the game through the stream, and it actually benefits the streamer as well. But alongside that, apparently you could potentially be able to even log in and join the server that your streamer is on. So the nice thing is, because the game is set up in a way that you can't just instantly grief people, it's not one of those sorts of things where people can jump on a streamer's server and instantly try and grief them, kind of thing. Like it's not really going to work in that regard. So prevention of streamers being griefed on their show is actually it is almost built into the system, kind of thing. So it's going to be a case of streamers can run with their crew almost, like on the actual on their server and on their show, which is going to be really cool.
So one thing I do want to clarify, because I've read the rest of your question now. We don't actually work for Amazon in any way.
No.
Well, there's a pseudo truth in there, in that we're Twitch affiliates, so technically we work through Amazon for Twitch. Like that's. I didn't think about that. Yes, we kind of work for Amazon, but like
that's so tangential, dude, that it might as well not be a
There's some 7 degrees to Kevin Bacon type crap going on between us and Amazon Game Studios, like in terms of our relationship, but yeah.
I don't think it's really necessary to go to that degree.
Yeah. As with most streamers out there, once you get a certain number of average viewers, you've streamed a certain amount of hours, you've accomplished all of the very low bar goals that they have for affiliate, you can start doing things like streaming for money, which I do want to thank our Patreon supporters. I do want to thank our subscribers. And I do want to thank anybody who follows us. We have a Discord community of over 300 members, which is at that link right there.
Right there.
It's almost like I've got my shit together for doing this. Yeah, welcome to the stream. We're always like, our main goal is to support the development of the community. You know, like, effectively speaking, McLeod and I have been with the community for a couple of years at this point.
Yeah.
Actually, more than a couple of years. Shit, wow, been a while.
Yeah, it's been
You
it's
know,
been a fair while, dude.
yeah.
I mean,
So
since the preview event, it's been fairly slow burn, so you know.
true, true. You know, and like, you know, we actually launched this show just as Alpha
Specifically,
2 was starting.
mm,
Under the assumption that we were only going to have to go until May with, you know, the content like this, where it's, you know, the talk show based content. We ended up having to go until August until we could stream the actual game at the preview, and now we're back for another, you know, 6 month stint of talk shows.
it's
Which,
been it's
yeah,
it's been interesting because like filling a talk show about you know New World is kind of difficult because a lot of content on Twitch is very much based around, you know, let's plays, right, games, that kind of thing. So when you when you can't play the game that like you're like the at least initially the channel was kind of set up for, right? It's kind of a little bit difficult, but we've been able to manage to some degree, which is nice.
yeah. It has definitely been an interesting road to get to where we are. There isn't a lot that I would change. You know, we've had an incredibly interesting time getting to where we are. You know, as we talked about at the beginning of this program, you know, New World itself, you know, popped open the timeline here. You know, New World itself has had, you know, quite the interesting time in its development as well. That, you know, we're excited to see where it goes from here as well. It's got
Yeah.
so much potential. You know, obviously they've changed the release format for information. They're now doing the patch notes, and they're really kind of giving the reasons why they're making certain changes and why they're trying certain things. You know, some things that I want to clarify, is that just because they change something in the alpha doesn't mean that that's permanent. So, like, sometimes you try stuff to see if it works and see if it's better. It might be, it might not be, you know. So, you know, don't take it as, you know, oh, you know, this is the game's ruined because they did X. Well, maybe they just wanted to see what would happen.
Exactly.
So it's worth taking a look at those kind of things, with a grain of let's see what the player base does with it, and gather the data around it first. Hey, thanks for the follow.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say, seeing Maseo in chat, kind of a newcomer to the stream. You know, welcome to the community, and I hope we see you in our Discord as well. But if you want to kind of check out anything about the game that we've done previously, obviously Twitch has a bit of an issue with regards to indefinitely keeping VODs. So that's why we have always taken our VODs from Twitch and put them onto YouTube. So if you're looking for like this kind of stuff, conversations about New World, even some of the preview event stuff, I think we went to YouTube as well. But you'll find all of that on our YouTube, and the link will be. I think there's a link down. Like if you scroll down from the stream, there's one of the buttons there for our YouTube as well.
We've got a number of videos there. We got all of our long form content from the preview. So if you want to watch like some 10-hour long streams of video, it's all on there. We tried to upload as much as we could. Beyond that, we are in the process of expanding. Like You guys can probably tell that, we've invested in some new equipment. You know, we're really kind of looking to capitalize on a lot of the other things that are happening. So, for instance, McLeod and I have been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, as well as Cyberpunk 2077, which, in my opinion, is a phenomenal game. It's got a lot of potential to be an even better game, but we'll see how those go. You know,
I mean, I had a blast playing Assassin's Creed. It was I think it was probably one of the first Assassin's Creed I've actually properly played, which is quite nice. Valhalla. I'm kind of getting into Cyberpunk now. Previously, I had to hack the executable to be able to actually play it, which was kind of awkward. But
one
it's
of our
still,
next projects is going to be to get
my
you a new
computer, even
CPU.
on my computer, yeah, even on my computer, it runs okay-ish. Like I'm a bit kind of hesitant as to seeing if I can still run it and stream it at the same time, which will be, I think that might be a bridge too far for my computer at this particular point in time, but you never know. But definitely having a blast.
Oh yeah. So,
and it's kind of something that we want to do a little bit more on this channel as well, right? We want to do multiple games, not just specifically New World.
Mm-hmm. One of the other things that we've said a couple of times in the past is that we're also going to be venturing into the product review space.
Yes.
So some things that obviously you guys might know, you might not know. I'm currently sitting in a Secret Labs chair that was delivered earlier this month. I'm not a fan of doing first day reviews, so like this is something that I'm going to be trying out for a while before I give you my impressions of it. I can tell you the chair that I returned today to Amazon, the Rousseau gaming chair. I'm very happy to have that torture device put away and no longer in my home. You can see the full review of that on our Discord in the review channel. Basically, there is no redeeming quality on that chair. It's functionally speaking a chair. However, it is also equivalent to the electric chair. It's not going to make you happy. It still qualifies as a chair, but probably not the one you're going to want to sit in for 12 hours a day.
It's broadly defined as a chair in the loosest possible sense.
Yeah. It is for $150. It is not worth the chiropractic appointments that you're going to need in order to continue to sit in that chair. So needless to say, we're going to venture into that space as well. We've started to acquire some other tech in terms of like the camera. So for instance, one of the things you guys might note is that we have fundamentally changed the quality of my camera. Now, it's not super noticeable because, it's a small picture, but let me show you the big difference here. This is a webcam, and this is a good camera. So,
saying that, like I have a good webcam. I'm running through a C920 right now.
Yeah.
But I have a shit ton of lights everywhere.
Yes.
And I had to tweak it a lot in order for it to look kind of like this. Whereas A's is like chilling back, like just letting the camera do its thing. And yeah.
So that said, the new camera is an M50. It's a Canon M50, EOS M50, I guess is the full name of it. It'll be one of the products that I review, going forward, which is going to be an interesting process because, of course, like in order to get film of a camera, you have to take it with a different camera. Didn't think that one through. So we're gonna have webcam footage of a camera.
Yeah. Yeah,
to promote the quality
film
that
the
that camera
camera,
has better quality footage.
in order
This
to
is
film the camera, you have to use a camera of lesser quality to film that camera.
yes.
It's just like,
What
oh
I should
damn,
do is then
it's
post a review of
it's
the webcam, which
it's
isn't a
like,
bad webcam, but
you know what that's kind of like. You know what that's kind of like, A's. It's like every single time you see adverts for like the newest greatest TV, and you're seeing it on your TV. You'll never get the experience of what that TV's like because you're watching it through your TV.
yeah,
So it just looks
look at the
like
depth
normal
of the
TV.
image and the depth of the blacks, and it's like it still
Wow,
looks gray.
that's so much better. So much that TV's so much better than my TV. You can tell. It's like, but you're watching it on your TV. It's like, oh yeah, good point.
You know, trying to sell a 4K TV to somebody who's still using 740p. It's like, you know, I don't see a difference. It still looks pretty grainy. Oh, yeah.
That's
Good times.
That's what we're gonna. That's what this review is going to be like of the Canon.
Yes. So naturally, that's something we're looking forward to. You know, we do actually enjoy sitting and chatting with members of the community. Several of the people in the chat right now are people that we frequently will chat with in the Discord server. You know, if you just hang out in the public chat, we're there. If you're looking for creator assets, if you're looking for art assets, and all of the stuff that has ever been released, and I'm talking all of it, absolutely everything. If you want to see the second a new post is online on their thing, if you want to see the second a new video on their YouTube comes up, if you want to track their Twitter feed, if you want to, you know, stalk them at wildly aggressive levels of automation, our Discord is probably the place for it. Like, you know,
we have all of your stalking of Amazon games.
Yes.
Needs.
Yes.
Right here.
If fundamentally speaking, if you were looking to keep your eye on what's going on,
the direction we want to go.
Yeah. If you want to keep an eye on this game, our Discord is probably one of the best places to go because we've automated everything. We've got an amazing bot that was developed by I'm gonna slaughter his name, but Taryn from New World Fans. I feel like that's his name, and I feel really bad for getting it wrong. I gotta go check another server to make sure I pronounce it right. Takyn, New World Fans, great guy. He built out a bot that'll help you do a bunch of stuff. We've also got bots that pull in other sources. So, for instance, let's say you are interested in keeping up with the tech space, which is an interest of McLeod and I's. You know, we pull in every day, anytime that it happens, automatically. We pull in Gamers Nexus videos, Linus Tech Tip videos, and Alpha Gaming videos. So if you're interested,
I'm gonna get you to add
those,
J2 in there as well.
Yeah. At a certain point, they all kind of give out the same, like, you know, videos at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
With some variety, obviously,
like,
but yeah.
I swear to God that Jay's videos though get like aggressively hated on by the YouTube algorithm for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh yeah. So, and of course, we've also got other things, like if you want to track the Reddit, and when I say the Reddit, I mean there's really only one good one, and that's r-new world game. I can tell you there's a reason that that one started up. There's a reason it's been a amazing success. It's because we keep the conversation incredibly civil. And
if you're typing in a subreddit into your address bar and it has a bunch of underscores in it, just stop. Stop.
Yep. Underscores don't make for good names. Mm-hmm.
No.
So, you know, I'm also one of the moderators over at r-new world games. So,
And that
if
didn't
you're
factor into anything whatsoever.
yeah, that factors not at all into my clear bias for one of them. But I actually left one of the I left the one to assist with the other because of the way that it was being handled. Um,
Yeah.
you know, so there's the link to it if you guys are looking for that. What's that command for Discord? There it is.
Okay.
We are going to wrap things up. Always happy to chat with our amazing following and our amazing community. That said, just because we're going off the air doesn't mean we're disappearing. We're going to be sitting in the public chat channel after the show on our Discord. Feel free to come chat. We're friendly. Like, it's not like we're just putting up a facade here. Like, we do actually enjoy talking to you guys after the fact. Because, who doesn't like talking about games and having a good time with good people?
We may be nerds, but we're not exactly socially awkward. So,
well, I mean, depends on the day. That said, I do want to thank our
doesn't help, man.
I do want to thank our Patreons, which support us financially every month. I do want to thank our subscribers, our tier 1, absolutely awesome members, our tier 2 and tier 3 members. I want to thank anybody who's following, anybody, like just the average person who's just here.
Anybody who's followed, anybody who's subbed, anybody who's given us, some kind of, some kind of assistance in any way, shape, or form, like through the year, for sure. Like, preview event or anything like that. Like, yeah, thanks, guys.
Yep. I also want to thank Amazon Game Studio for supporting the stream in terms of some of those assets. Great stuff. And with that, we're going to, we've got a kind of tradition at the end of the show. We pop into the video that we put together with a whole bunch of clips from released video from the game studio. And that'll be that. We'll see you guys in the public chat on the Discord.
Mm-hmm.